Welcome to Wednesday night satsang. On April 15th, Unity women are invited to an event called Coming Home, Weaving Body and Spirit Through Dance. Sometimes in life it feels like we leave pieces of ourselves scattered far and wide. As we surrender to music and dance, we call the pieces home. No prior knowledge or ability is needed. You can even engage in the process while seated in a chair. Join Libby Vaughn and the Unity Women from 2 to 4 p.m. in the Pyramid on Saturday, April 15th. This Sunday at 9:45 in the Pyramid, the Spanish language service will feature Ricardo Portillo with the topic, The Story You Tell Yourself. When we consciously observe our thoughts, we recognize how they influence our human experience. From there, we can choose differently and align with our personal power. Attend in person or via live stream. Something is calling me. This is the message Reverend Michael Gott will share this Sunday at 11 a.m. We are created in the image and likeness of the divine, and we are on an eternal journey of revealing this likeness. Everything that occurs in life is an invitation into healing and wholeness. When we access stillness, we hear the voice of our higher self calling us forward into the green and growing edge of our becoming. After the service, you can learn about traveling with Reverend Michael to Bali, Indonesia. Unity of Houston is partnering with Spirit Tours, a group that has over 20 years of experience at sacred locations around the world. Thanks to their connections, we will have special access to sites that few tourists experience. Our information session is this Sunday, April 16th at 12:30 in the chapel. At Wednesday night satsang, Stacy Collins will talk about how we can integrate our inner lives as we face challenges. Instead of avoiding anguish and running away from problems, we can acknowledge, accept, respond, and release. This is the path of transformation. Namaste.
So we take this moment to welcome ourselves into this space, whether we're here in the chapel or in our homes or wherever we're engaging with this service. Let's go ahead and give ourselves the gift of taking a couple of nice deep breaths. No need to rush, no need to hurry. Simply allow. And so just as we allow ourselves to be breathed, we also allow and welcome however it is we be in this moment. Whatever is in our hearts, on our minds, people, circumstances, challenges perhaps, whatever it is all welcome here. And so in welcoming it, we can perhaps just lay it aside for the next hour or so together, allowing ourselves to open up and receive whatever gift is here for us here tonight. So we are grateful for this time that we spend together in spiritual community, knowing that we're right exactly where we need to be in this moment, just as we are. And so it is. Amen.
Please join us in singing. Tonight we're looking at our experience of abundance, and one of the most beautiful ways we can experience abundance is by giving, being in the flow of giving, and in doing so we receive. So please sing with us and feel that flow of abundance. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the
send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my power into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send peace over the mountains. I send peace over the sea. I send peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And it returns to me. And it returns to me.
For our mantra chant tonight, we're singing Om Mani Padme Hum. This is an ancient chant of freedom, for release of anything that seems to be an obstacle, so you can experience greater peace.
Mani Padme.
trust that the singing has helped to harmonize your being as we move into our meditation practice this evening. Please find a comfortable seated posture where you feel your feet grounded into the support of the floor, the earth beneath you. Feeling your spine sitting tall, relaxing your belly as you take in a deep breath and let go. Taking in another deep cleansing breath, releasing. Breathing into any areas of tension in the body, allowing them to relax. Releasing the muscles in your face. Allowing your shoulders to drop down. Letting go in the belly. We tend to hold our belly in during the day. Just let it relax. Let your breathing be natural. We were born breathing a belly breath. That's how a baby breathes. Breath just rise and fall in its beautiful natural rhythm. Recognizing abundance in the unlimited nature of your breath. Who can count how many breaths we've had in a day or week or lifetime? By this natural, life-giving movement, taking in what we need, releasing what we no longer need. As we feel the blessing of breathing today. We recognize the blessing of the abundance that nature provides us every day. Unlimited air to breathe. Beautiful resource of rain that nurtures the earth, allows for plants to grow, that we can eat to nourish our bodies, water for us to drink. The sun that warms us, gives us energy and light. The nature that we can tend to take for granted, that we experience as part of our daily routine. The grass, wildflowers, trees. All coexisting together in harmony and support of each other. Expanding our awareness to notice the abundance of human support, of other people in our lives. Family, friends, colleagues, community members. Person who holds the door for you and you walk in the post office, or someone who drops off your package that's being delivered. There's so much support of our lives, interconnected. So we recognize the abundance of this as we sit, that there is life support in the form of other beings. And we include our animal companions who give us love and support, companionship, and their presence. Gratitude for this abundance of life, nature, other beings. Expanding this awareness to recognize that this is available throughout our planet for all life. Seeing how we're all interconnected beings. We know the truth that there is no lack anywhere, that abundance is always present, and that if we have momentarily forgotten this truth, begin again with gratitude, noticing something small, some small expression of life, and ladybug crawling across your windshield. Ah, so beautiful. Little touches of God. Takes our attention to begin to notice again. Truly, all of the good, the blessings, the abundance. So I invite you in this last part of our practice tonight to consider any area of your life where you have been struggling to see abundance. And open some more. Feel some energy expanding around that situation. Your awareness to greater possibilities that are present there. That perhaps because your focus was on one thing, you may have missed the 2,000 other things that were happening, that are available in another way or form or expression. Support and love, supply, present to peace undergirding all experience. The silence that we call God consciousness. Renewed awareness, we are grateful, and we are grateful for possibilities yet to be seen. As we complete our meditation, bring your attention to your body, make any adjustments that feel right to you as you bring some movement to your body from sitting still for this time. When you're ready, open your eyes and bring your attention to the here and now.
So in this beautiful energy and consciousness of abundance that we have created together, by turning inward and becoming more aware of our own abundance, we can feel the fullness of this moment. And as Reverend Jeanmarie talked about, the abundance is revealing itself. Every tree, every blade of grass, every living creature, every human being, including us. And so as we are nourished and nurtured and growing and thriving, we give of our abundance to that which we want to see nourished and nurtured and growing and thriving. And if Unity of Houston, the spiritual community, is a place that you would like to see grow, we invite you now to give of your own financial abundance to this community. So we have lots of ways. You can see them on your screen that you can give. The form doesn't matter. It's all the same to God. And so we just take this moment to say our offering prayer together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. And so it is.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion to. Imagine all the people living for today. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say you're a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you join us, and the world is one.
That song put you at ease. Love that. Acoustic guitar. Ooh. Thank you, Ton. It's beautiful. So, wow. Our imagination can lead us to desire anything, right? A delicious piece of dark chocolate. Or how about like that piece of dark chocolate is part of chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream? Or that it's also connected to a kitchen in a luxury home that has a sports car parked in the driveway, you know, all the money to live a glamorous life. Or you could imagine all people living in peace, living for today, like the song. You could imagine everyone well fed and housed and clothed. What does abundance mean to you? It always begins with imagination and how we can use it to create, right? So tonight I'm sharing about transforming desire into abundance. We're loaded up with desires, right? You know how that song by U2, Desire, and Bono sings, desire, like you really feel like that's sometimes desire, like, oh, it's like this powerful, powerful feeling, right? Raise your hand if you've ever had a desire. Raise your hand, yes, any kind of, all kinds, right? We all have desires, and we actually need desire in order to live. When you lose desire, that's when people jump off buildings and overdose on pills. Okay, we need to have desire. So we're not a spiritual teaching that says you must be free of desire to be pure and holy. And no, we're not. That's not us. We need desire. And just think about it. Without sexual desire, you wouldn't have been born, right? Right? I mean, this is just biology. All right. Without continuing to desire, we would die. So we have desire. We have desire to love. We have desire for connection, desire for understanding, desire for growth. And there's just truly no getting rid of desire. So we want to embrace it as part of our human experience. And some people believe that Buddhism condemns all desire, and that's not the truth. We're continuing our series on Jack Kornfield's book, The Wise Heart. And he shares that actually Buddhist psychology differentiates between healthy and unhealthy desire. And so we want to do that in our spiritual practice. It's important that we recognize when unhealthy desires are present, recognize what we need to do to not act on those, and to encourage the healthy desires and approaching them in a healthy way, right? So the good news in all of this is that there is freedom that is beyond the realm of desire. So we're not just kind of just always stuck in that desire. There's freedom, and it is in that freedom that we experience true abundance. So it's really the pathway into an experience of true abundance. The first step in finding this freedom is that process of differentiating between healthy and unhealthy desires. All desire has a root that is beneath it. And the root is this neutral mental factor, which is our will to do. We all have a will to do, power of will that we have, and it's part of our energy of life. So we have this will, and so we get to choose how we direct that will, right? We direct it in healthy ways, we direct it in unhealthy ways. When we direct it in unhealthy ways, it brings forth unhealthy desires, right? And traditionally, in case you're not sure what the unhealthy ones are, this is what Jack Kornfield says that they are: greed, addiction, overwhelming ambition, gambling, womanizing, avarice, and they're based on ignorance, these unhealthy desires, and they lead to possessiveness, self-centeredness, dissatisfaction, compulsion, unworthiness, insatiability, and similar forms of suffering. We all know about these. Oh, that sounds familiar, right? And they can be in big and small ways, and they can be in large ways that can consume our lives, right? So healthy desires are associated with loving kindness, caring, compassion, appreciation. And so those lead to healthy actions that we need to do in our lives, like feeding ourselves, clothing ourselves and others in our lives, children, people that we care for, taking care of our bodies, tending to our work and to our community. We can see the link in this kind of healthy desire as we care for children, right? You see parents with children, and Jack Kornfield talks about in Buddhist countries like Sri Lanka and Tibet and Thailand, that children are held on the lap. They're just really free and joyful and uninhibited. Their faces are beaming, playful, and a joy for life. We see those kind of kids here at Unity too. We love our kids here, of course, and in other places as well. But that's something that he's just sharing, that a way that you see healthy desire that comes forward as caring. So what is that kind of energy behind what your desire is, healthy or unhealthy? So we want to release the unhealthy desires and hold healthy desires lightly, because that can also become unhealthy when we cling too tightly to that. We pay a price when we get lost in desire. Does that happen to you? Get lost in you can even get lost in a manifestation process where you're so in kind of the image of it, the idea of it, that you can lose touch with reality and what's actually happening. So we want to be aware of that, and our heart closes to our actual situation when we're so much into desire that we're not fully present. In India, they describe it this way: when a pickpocket meets a saint, all he sees are the saint's pockets.
That's cute.
That's what he's paying attention to, right? He's looking for the pockets. That's why they say don't go food shopping when you're hungry. You know, I try to be aware of that. And because then you want to buy a lot of snacks, so buy extra food, and you indulge in some of those unhealthy desires, and you get home and go, wait, I didn't get any lettuce. The wisest approach to working with unhealthy desires is learning to let them go. And that can be a challenge at first. And it is interesting to hear people talk about how they've dealt with addiction by just sitting with the desire for the cigarette and being with that energy and letting it pass. And every time it comes up, letting it pass, but not going to get the cigarette. So it takes practice, whatever that thing is. That's the unhealthy desire. When the desire arises, sit with it, and it will pass. You can also seek support from others, right, in your life. You don't need to do it alone, and there's wonderful 12-step support groups for addictions. When we sit with our desires long enough, they actually go back to roots. There are roots beneath those desires that can be linked to childhood trauma, to some kind of experience of deficiency in our childhood, to some loss or lack of love or loneliness that is kind of operating under the scenes, right? Subconsciously, that we feel a feeling show up and we want to not feel that anymore. So we fill it with food or whatever it is that is the thing that makes it go away momentarily, and it'll show up again, right? Because we haven't really dealt with it. When you feel it in the body, rest with it, and you can allow it to expand. So that is one thing that in this practice that we did in the meditation, it kind of just, when you're with the energy of it, it can feel really intense. So just allow it to like open up, and it kind of dissipates. It opens up the energy some more, and it creates space around it, and then you can discover some stillness there, where in the midst of that desire, there is that experience within of wholeness, of contentment, of well-being. So you can connect with that when it's not so much like a small compounded experience, where we've kind of opened it up and felt some space around that. And we can do that in our practice. That's a cool thing that costs nothing we can do to help ourselves to learn to teach ourselves to let go. So we can choose to pursue our goals in healthy and unhealthy ways, and you can have really amazing goals in life. You can have a goal to write a successful novel, to be in the Olympics, to create a thriving business, and they can all be pursued in different ways. I read something recently that said, if you're working so hard that you don't have time to talk to the other people that you work with, you're working too hard. And I'm like, oh, that's me sometimes. So maybe a lot of times. So I try to be conscious of that. That's important. And recognize when you're operating in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. I can tend to get real focused and honed in. If we're pursuing our goals in order to prove that we're worthy, to cover up insecurity, or to dominate others, it will ultimately be unfulfilling. So recognizing it's an unhealthy way, and it will come to an end. There's no divine life in that, right? That's a real ego-driven approach. So you see how that it takes a lot of energy to sustain that. However, the same activity can be done in a healthy way. Creating your novel, your business can be done in a healthy way with commitment and dedication and with love. Have you ever seen Tibetan monks and they make their sand mandalas? It's so beautiful, and it takes a long time and a lot of work, and it's very, very intricate. And then they, at the end of a week or however long it takes them to make it, they have a ceremony and they blow it all away. It's like, whoa, wait, no, stop, wow. And that's just how they experience impermanence and beauty, right? And it's like now in spring, and gardeners who plant like annuals that they're not going to make it till next year. They'll have to be replanted again, and they're beautiful, and we enjoy them now, right? We enjoy them knowing that we'll be giving that gift again to the earth by planting again next spring. And we do this as a way of showing our care and expressing beauty and our dedication. And this is a healthy desire that can lead us into freedom. So we're moving into the direction of abundance. The Indian sage Nisargadatta, this is Jack Kornfield's one of his teachers. He challenged his students by saying, the problem with you is not that you have desires, but that you desire so little. Why not desire at all? Why not want complete fulfillment, joy, and freedom. And so here, Jack tells us this was not to advocate greed, but that now we can focus on a thing, getting a thing, becoming a thing, or having a thing, or whatever that goal, idea, or purchase is for you, that is really actually something small. And he's encouraging us to expand our consciousness to know that when we know there's no separation from our good, right? We go within and we discover that everything that we really desire is already available within us, which is ultimately what we wanted from the addiction or the thing in the first place: fulfillment, joy, and freedom, which we thought we might get from that unhealthy desire. So how can we experience that in a healthy way, right? Because really, ultimately, we all want that same kind of deeper fulfillment and joy and freedom. Abundance is an inside job. I have a little card up in my office that says that to remind me. It's an inside job. So we've got to know our own value, our own worth, really, so that we can give generously from the world, because if you're giving from, an idea of your smallness, right, there's not much to give from. So give from your largesse. I like that word, your largesse. Just overflowing with so much good. And wise parents do this for their children, that they teach them that they have a lot to give to the world. I do that with my daughter and encourage her to know that she has so many gifts and so much that she's going to do and be. And so if you didn't have parenting like that, that's something that you can give to yourself now as an adult, and we can encourage that in ourselves. And we want to give our children opportunities to shine their light and share their gifts, and we can create that for all others as well. As our desires lessen, generosity is born. Generosity, and here's where we're shifting into abundance. There's an African proverb that puts it this way: it is the heart that gives, the fingers just let go. The heart that gives, the fingers just let go, right? So when the heart is free from holding on, from thinking, this is, I have to protect this is mine, and all those kind of ideas that keep us clinging, then we're not really in the flow of abundance. It's when we can really freely give that we see our connection with all of life, and it becomes just a natural process that we do. So shifting from desire to abundance we can do by really simply beginning to notice what is already present. The Lotus Sutra says this: you, the richest person in the world, have been laboring and struggling endlessly, not understanding that you already possess all that you seek. All that you seek. I went on a retreat. I was so grateful I went on retreat. And that was last weekend. And one of the things that we were invited to do was on this beautiful piece of property where there was a labyrinth and lots of nature and flowers and animals. And so we were invited to go out and notice what we notice. And I walked out by the labyrinth, and I was just noticing everything. It was just so beautiful to not talk and just be present to what is there, and notice what it sounds like to hear my footsteps, like how my foot felt kind of crunching on the ground as I walked the labyrinth, the feeling of the warmth of the sun on my face. And I decided to sit with this caterpillar that I was watching for a while. And this guy, I couldn't believe him. He climbed up a stalk of grass, and it was really, this blade of grass, very, very thin. And he just kind of looked around, went to the next thing, was a little more stable, and then went on another blade of grass that was very thin. And I thought, what are you do? What do you do? No, that caterpillar was cool. He was okay, he or she. She was cool, or they. And so it just kept going, and it was just so fascinating to watch that. And this is just happening everywhere. All this cool stuff is happening all over, and we're missing it because we're on our screens and things like that, and that's okay too. We want to shift into recognizing what's present, and then we can start feeling how abundant our life is already, and how much there is to notice and experience. I like this quote. Henry David Thoreau said, "Simplify, simplify." And then Waldo Emerson responded, "One simplify would suffice." So it's in simplifying from our mind that wants to accumulate, right, so much, to recognizing you already have, and being of a generous nature, and noticing what's already here, God's goodness and abundance in people, in nature, in life, and the experience of the billions of breaths we've taken, that we really can just allow ourselves to be awash in the experience of abundance, and then you will truly transform desire into an abundant life with that awareness. Namaste.
Thank you. I wish I could have met this caterpillar. Nice friend you made there. Oh, I love the idea too. Well, one of the things that really resonated with me is the idea of when we have the unhealthy desires, the things that maybe aren't so good for us, that it's never about that thing, is it? We think this thing, I like the word insatiable with that, because we think this is going to be a solution to this feeling of, I think of like sometimes self-care for me when I'm really tired might better serve me if I just go and rest, and instead it's a big piece of chocolate cake or something like that. That feels like the desire, but the desire is actually to treat myself. And that I can treat myself in a healthy way or a not so way that supports my health, right? So it's not about the cake, it's about, I feel like I need a treat, right?
Yeah.
And that's to get down to that root of what that desire is. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you do have the treat, to really enjoy
I was going to say that. Yeah. Don't add words to it by beating yourself up for it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate this, because one thing that I've been desiring is more time, but I have the same amount of hours in the day as everybody else, right? So it's turning that desire into abundance by realizing the time that I do have, right? And then, because I'm the kind of person that I'll be just like today, working on the computer, and then I think, oh, well, I really wanted to research this other thing, and I want to open this other window, and then now I got to check my email, and I end up doing a multitude of things when it would be better if I just focused on one task and finished it, instead of going all over the place. But it's that desire, right? It's like, oh, now I desire to go over to this other down this other trail that I think I need to do right now, which I don't need to do right now. So yeah, that being focused, being present, being mindful, realizing. I really like that idea of turning desire into, there's plenty of time. I can sort out my day, prioritize. I don't have to do everything at once. Don't have to do everything right now.
Yeah. Time. That's a powerful one, surely. I think about, like, in the kind of work that we do, that I have this desire for everybody to just really love the work that I do, love my ideas, love how I speak and teach and sing and everything. And with the idea of time, when you get some feedback from someone that they were not 100% happy with something, you go, but I put my time of my life into that, right? And really, there is a process of letting go, of knowing that you just can't please everybody. Because people come with their stuff too. You know, you have your stuff, they come with their stuff, and so that can cause a lot of suffering, that idea that, especially with people who are consistently hard to please, it's like, okay, now I'm going to notice if I'm allowing myself to suffer because of their response, or I can just know my own worth and validate myself. I can, that's a practice. That's a practice for me.
Well, I think that too, one of the things that came up for me is the idea that even when the desire is for a noble outcome, even if it's something we're creating, something beautiful, even to give to others, to still bring that awareness of what energy I'm bringing into the project. I was reminded of a time that for ministerial school, I had an assignment to pick a word and to really, that the Fillmores used, and to do all the research into how they used it and what it meant, and create a slideshow. And I picked silence because I said, if I pick the word silence, this is going to be a calming and beautiful experience. But what did I do? Every slide in there, I was like, I don't like this font. I don't like this picture. You know, I started creating the energy. This has to be perfect. I need to time it down to every second, and I need it to be. And then I was like, wait a minute. The energy that I'm putting into this, how can I expect to have a wonderful, calm experience at the end if I'm tied up in the result of it? It's much better for me to stay in the present moment right now, and the creation of it is just as important as the end result, right? And sometimes I can get too focused on the end result that I create stress for myself in the creation, and much better to just enjoy every moment, you know?
Yeah.
And I appreciate what you were saying too, Stacey, about using desire as distraction. I don't want to be sitting at the computer, so now I need to go to the fridge and get a snack. But letting that pass, like you said, just sitting with it and noticing it, realizing it, and just awareness, I guess, bringing awareness to it, right? So that I don't have to feel like I need to fulfill that right this minute.
Yes, the mind will come up with a million things, especially if you sit in meditation that you could be doing, should be doing.
Yes, the mind's a doer. I'd always prefer doing to leaning in, right?
Thank you both.
Thank you
for your practice tonight with us.
So now is the time in our service where we expand this sacred circle of energy, of love, of upliftment that we have created together. Everyone here, everyone watching online, that's created together by our consciousness, by our collective consciousness. And at this time, we invite into our awareness, into our sacred circle of love, any people, any loved one, any pets, any situations, any circumstances that are on our heart that we would like to hold in the image of wholeness, perfectness, completeness. We say their names now. So for all these names spoken, for all those that have gone unspoken, for all the prayer requests being said all over our planet right here at this time, we hold each prayer in the light and love of divine love, of divine intelligence, knowing that the wholeness of God is being revealed in every moment. So we are grateful for this truth, and grateful for this awareness, and grateful that we get to hold it together for one another. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. Let's join together now in our metta practice. By the
Power of this practice, may all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they know the sacred joy that arises in the space beyond suffering. May they rest in equanimity that knows no grasping or hatred. May they experience the equality of all beings. May my practice be of benefit to all.